Hey, pretty babies, what is going on? You are checking out a all new The RCWR show with Lee Sanders for Monday night of December 27, 2021. How the hell y'all been, man? Oh, here we are. It is official. We are now here in the final week of 2021. I know a lot of you guys are excited because, let's be honest, we've seen some crazy stuff happening this year, have we not? I know a lot of you guys, if ever there was a year you're just ready to, you know what, let's go onward to 2022, hell, maybe even 2023, but I know there's a lot of you guys that are seriously banking on 2022 to be the year. Hey, I'm with you guys, seriously. But you know, looking at all of this craziness that's going down right now, considering the way that 2019 going into 2020 had ended, and then we're going into 2021, and essentially 2021 is pretty much ending, right? Almost 21 months ago, if you will, when everything had began with this craziness known as COVID. I tell you what, 2022, if ever there was a year for some serious optimism, you really need to have it right now as we are going into the new year. I hope your weekend was fantastic. We are fresh off of the Christmas holiday weekend. Mine's was pretty good. Got to see a couple of friends, a few family members. Chilled. I tried to actually do my best to limit how much time I was interacting with folks. I mainly did my very best to just chill with the missus, and it actually got right down to the point that normally wifey makes it her business to go see her dad and her mom on Christmas. You know, she usually likes to spend part of the morning, early afternoon, seeing them and everything. But considering what's been going on with this variant, and she really wasn't feeling that good. I mean, it wasn't a full blown she was feeling sick, but there was enough caution for her to say, okay, you know what, let me go on ahead and I'm sure you guys have been seeing the news, man, and we'll be talking about it early on. You see how that Omicron has been affecting a lot of the WWE events, and some news that had came about with WWE going forward as far as testing talents. Again, we'll dive into all of that much later on into the show and everything. But yeah, man, it's some scary times right now. It really is. But we pretty much took it easy. I got me some nice gifts. I took a couple of pictures. You can actually see them on social media, but for the ones that I'm most pumped up for that I had got, I would have to say, honestly, I shared this pic earlier today. I got an exclusive Ringside Collectibles Luminary Series figure of the Icon Sting, the AEW version, and this is the first Sting figure under AEW. And man, the articulation and everything, it looks pretty freaking on point. I gotta tell you guys, it looks freaking badass. And it just so happens I've got one of the first 10 of those figures out of 5,000 out of that Luminary series and everything. So that's pretty good. I actually saw the guy that has number 1 on social media earlier today, so I'm sure he's on cloud 9. And you know, to have basically one of the first 10, that's pretty badass. It's like, what are the odds? And that's actually my first time ever getting something from Ringside Collectibles as far as an action figure goes. That's my very first time, because I'm trying to actually, you know what, now that I'm really thinking about it, first time I've ever had any association with Ringside Collectibles. I've been aware of their stuff for over the years. I've covered them off and on over the years whenever they've been doing some really cool stuff and everything. But yeah, I've never actually done a purchase from Ringside Collectibles before. And I gotta tell you, the craftsmanship / points of articulation for that Sting figure, pretty damn good. I know that there are some figures, the scans, it's a little bit of a miss with some of them. Trust me, I know. But for the Sting figure, they actually did a pretty damn good job. So me and my wife were definitely impressed by it, right down to the point when she was checking it out initially. Hang on 1 second. You might hear some echo. I'm trying to mute some stuff here at my end. Give me a second here. See what's going on. Me and my wife were definitely... There you go. Sorry about that. But I'm just pulling up the chat room so I can see what you guys are saying and everything. Shout out to you guys in the chat. But yeah, the points of articulation was badass. Even my wife was impressed because she actually saw it, because she had to gift wrap it and everything. So she took it out of the initial packaging and she was quite impressed with what she saw. And even she was like, once she saw look on my face and I was talking about it and everything, even she was saying, yeah, that's really good. And I said, yeah. So, makes me wonder, who is this company that's behind, these figures? And we're both looking at the fine print on the packaging, and it turns out Jaguars, you guys know exactly the name I'm talking about. At one point, that's what WWE had pushed a long time ago, right before they went to Jakks Pacific, as you guys recall, and then ultimately doing their thing with Mattel and everything. So, yeah, kind of interesting right there. So that was probably one of my favorite highlights. And on social media, we were having fun trying to figure out one particular Christmas present. And it turns out it is a Elgato green screen projector. So that's badass. So now that little mystery is solved. So I have me some nice tools that I'm looking forward to be playing around with in the coming year, man, because there's going to be we're going to be up in that production game on another level. But none of those compare to the most ultimate gift that was bestowed upon me Christmas weekend. Something I've been wanting for some years now. And I would say the last 3 years, it's just grown more and more and more, how the heart yearns even more. And that's, I've been wanting to have a new addition to the family. And by new addition, I mean a new pet in the family and everything. So true story, I want to rewind this a little bit. It's not long-winded, but originally I kind of told you guys loosely about it a couple of weeks ago, but we were supposed to get a new dog in January. And my wife had already made the connections. Luckily, it was a connection through her best friend's, I think her best friend's mom or best friend's aunt. Yeah, one of those two. You got to forgive me. But they had a litter of puppies that were available. And so I told my girl, I said, okay, well, keep your options open. Okay, that's nice. But let's not also forget that over here, there's another. And the way it had played out, the other option, the latter, it turns out that dog was no longer available. And as far as getting the communication of, hey, it's no longer available, we found out, I forgot how we found out, but it was kind of one of those, okay, well, it would have been nice had we been told directly ASAP that that dog was no longer available. For the better, because it's an older dog anyway, right? So more power to the older dog. So then we focused back on the litter of puppies, or rather I tried to. And I said to the wifey, I said, yo, what's going on with the puppies? And she said, oh, yeah, already put some money down on it. Not supposed to be getting the puppy until mid to late January. So I get off work Friday night, and I've been in the middle of enjoying a nice little vacation from school and, the other job and everything. And I get off from the nighttime job. I get in the car and my wife asks me two questions. The first question she asks me, she says, what would you like to have for dinner? I said, I don't really know. Maybe we could get some freaking Lido's Pizza or something. Whoever's open right now. It's like, sheesh, it's Christmas Eve. Like, what the hell? And she goes, okay. And the second thing, I'm going, well, hang on, hold that thought. It's like, I got to show you this. And she's like, no, there's something important I want to show you. I go, no. Like, hang on, I got to take care of this. And I actually had ran into one of my Twitter, because he's on all the social media platforms. We follow each other, actually, and we actually chat once in a blue moon. One of my favorite NBC Washington reporters, Shamari Stone. He does a phenomenal job in what he covers and everything. And once I get a certain amount of credits from school, I'm definitely going to be doing an internship with NBC, assuming that I can definitely get in there with the internship. I got to have like at least 30 credits to do an internship with NBC Washington. And right now I am at 15 or 16 credits right now. WUSA, they also got an internship as well. I think that one is about maybe 15 to 20 credits, give or take. But Shamari, I've been following his work for the past several years now, ever since he first came to DC. So after I get off work, who is it that I see as I'm heading to the car and everything, getting ready to get picked up by the wifey? I see freaking Shamari Stone. So I spent a couple of minutes checking out who he's interviewing, seeing his cameraman Brooks, and it was a whole nice encounter. If you actually go on my Twitter page, you can actually see the picture that I took with Shamari Stone. And that was a great moment. And I told him, I said, every time I be trying to interact with you, but you're always in the middle of going live or something. And he told me straight up, this was on social media, he told me straight up, he said, man, I always got time to talk to my followers, fans of my work. He's like, you should have just waited, and I definitely would have talked to you. And so very cool, very approachable. So shout out to my DC, Maryland, Virginia residents. If you never ran into Shamari Stone, he's definitely very approachable, very cool, very laid back. So after I get in the ride, wifey's, what do you want to eat? Wifey goes, okay, you met Shamari? And you're like, yeah. And next thing I know, she goes, close your eyes, stick out your hands. I go, okay. All right, boom. So the newest addition to the Sanders household here, I want you guys to meet Chloe. Here. She's trying to do her best to sleep right now, and rightfully so. But here she is, Chloe, who's just doing her best to get her, where are we? Hang on. There we go. She's doing her best right now to get her little sleep on. So I love it. We'll see how long this lasts. I mean, usually she's pretty good. Hopefully, as we are, because anything can happen when we're live, man. It's live, pal. Anything can happen. I checked with her right before we went live on the air to see if she wanted to potty, but she's good. I've been on her every hour since Raw was on. She has not wanted to potty. So other than that, she's been playful. Friday night was kind of rough. I got to be honest with you guys. Friday night was kind of rough because we first got her and that was the first night officially. And we took her home and everything. She was very depressed. She wouldn't eat. She wouldn't drink. And I mean, rightfully so, because that was the day that the rest of her kin, they all pretty much had got separated and they were going in the different directions. Wifey had made at least 2 other pit stops dropping off her brothers and sisters. So I can imagine. And then on top of that, being ripped away from your mom, but not for nothing, mom wasn't trying to feed them anymore. She pretty much was like, you guys are on your own. So you already got that neglection on top of all of that. So Friday night was really rough for her. But going in the weekend, oh man, she just really started to get real comfortable with her surroundings. Tail just a wagging, all that good stuff. She's very playful, very energetic. She loves biting right now. She's definitely very high in that teething phase. For those of you that's a little bit curious how old she is, I would say probably about, wifey just told me tonight too, I believe she is 7 or maybe 8 weeks old. So yeah. Yeah, it's been a challenge. It's definitely been a challenge, but you know what? I love it. I can't complain. I'm loving it. So don't be surprised if on future shows you're going to be seeing a lot of her for the next little bit, because we are in a long haul right now with her early development here. And look, anybody that's dog lovers, owners, and you've got a lot of experience with pups and all of that, any tips you maybe would like to pass on to me, I'm definitely all ears, because this is new territory for me. For the wifey, not so much, but definitely for me, it is. And there's actually definitely a lot of new stuff that I'm learning, but at the same time, there's definitely stuff that wifey is learning as well. Not to bore you guys, but yeah. So great Christmas weekend after all. Again, I hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas holiday weekend, holiday break and all that. We'll talk about Raw in a little bit. Look, overall, under the circumstances, if you did not know any of the craziness that was going on with WWE for this week, as far as the news about COVID and how it's impacting them, how they've had to push back on a WWE event that's going to be happening in Canada, we'll get a little bit more into that later. But, you got all of that, and then you're looking at the day one pay-per-view that's coming up this weekend, and you're kind of wondering what exactly is going on here. Look, you definitely had some notable faces that were missing from tonight's WWE Raw. But if you were not even aware about the news that was going on with the COVID stuff, you would have just thought that it was business as usual in regards to tonight's WWE Raw. You would have looked at this episode and you would have said, yeah, there's that trademark tradition there of a pretty lackluster final Raw as we get ready to go into pay-per-view weekend. Yeah, way to go, WWE. I can't help but wonder how different, if at all, this Raw would have been, because all of those reports that we just talked about a couple of minutes ago, and then on top of that, reports are from PW Insider and from Fightful, shout out to those guys, that Vince McMahon wasn't in the house for this week's Raw. Bruce Pritchard wasn't in the house. When I say not in the house, physically not there, pretty much quarterbacking the flagship show. You had a lot of people that were missing from tonight's Raw. Raw was actually, if I remember correctly, it was being run by... Oh man, I had the names. I don't remember. I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Dunn was there. Ed Kowski. Ed was one of the guys. I can't remember who the other guy was. Look, for all we know, McMahon, Pritchard, they all might have been available via remotely, and they probably were constantly in interactions that way during the show. But even they, to a certain degree, were impacted by this new variant that's running around and everything. But again, putting all of that to the side, if you didn't hear any of that news going into your Christmas holiday weekend, you would have just looked at this week's episode and just felt, yeah, that's a bit below average of a show. Okay, yeah, it is what it is. But if you got more of a keen set of eyes and ears, you're watching this product, you definitely noticed there were a few faces that were missing tonight, without a shadow of a doubt. Some notable faces. But look, decent show under the circumstances. I'm more curious to see what's going to happen with this day one pay-per-view that's going to be coming up over the weekend. I don't know about you guys, but that's just me, honestly, because after all, card is subject to change, right? And I just can't help but wonder, okay, man, hopefully a lot of these men and women on the WWE roster that unfortunately tested positive for COVID, Seth Rollins being one of those guys, and he pretty much had revealed it Sunday while some of the football games were on, is how he pretty much had revealed the news. He kept it short, sweet, and simple and everything, but you're hoping that in the case of Seth Rollins, and look, if you didn't watch Raw tonight and you're wondering, okay, how is that exactly going to impact Rollins at day one? The way it's looking right now, by the time we get to day one, Seth Rollins is already going to be in the double digits for quarantining, making sure everything's okay. So he could literally just be the day of the pay-per-view, could just be isolated, maybe on his own little bus or in his own little personal vehicle, whatever, go do what he needs to do at the pay-per-view, and then pretty much roll the hell out. It could easily go down like that. Have to wait and see how that plays out. But some interesting stuff did come about over the weekend, wrestling related wise, that some of you all might not be aware about, because it all wasn't just on WWE. But first things first, before we go any further into the show, I definitely want to, I hate coming on here, especially when it's the final week of this month, the final week of this calendar year, and open up things on a Debbie Downer. I hate that. But to the point that was brought up earlier, THM, yes, I will be keeping the Sting figure. You can ask DT, Mish. You can ask those that's been longtime listeners of the show. I am a huge Sting fan. And to the point, what I had posted earlier, you can see how much I love Sting. Not only now do I have that addition of the Sting figure in my man cave, but I also have I have a few people that has signed the big gold belt. The big gold belt. 'Cause of all the titles, the winged title, winged WWF title, definitely my favorite. The white Intercontinental Championship, definitely my favorite. But the big gold belt is also a personal favorite of mine. Sting, CM Punk, I think Batista signed it as well. I'm not sure. But Sting has signed the big gold belt. So on top of the Sting figure, I got that. I also have an autographed Sting photo that he personally made out to me when I met him at AwesomeCon a couple of years ago. And I had actually covered his Q&A panel at that AwesomeCon. You can actually find that in the archives on demand and on the downloads. Also did a photo op with Sting. So of all the wrestlers, as far as my absolute favorite, definitely the icon Sting, without a shadow of doubt. But yeah, I want to open up on this note. Rest in peace to wrestler Markus Crane. Markus Crane is probably a name that many of you guys are not familiar with. I know over the years we tried to do our very best. When we say covering all things wrestling entertainment and beyond since 2011, it's not some catchy phrase that just, to look cool, right? I actually try to do my very best to go all around, because my whole thing is, if it's got you guys talking, if it's a point of interest to you, if I feel that, you know what, this is definitely something that needs to be brought to you all's attention, you all definitely need to know about it. For those that are not so narrow-minded, and I mean that in the most respectful way, and it's just always WWE or it's always AEW. They're truly open-minded when it comes to just wrestling in general. I always try to bring stuff to you all's attention. A lot of our listeners, fans of the show, may not be familiar with that name. But if you maybe made your rounds at some point over the years, checking out GCW, you know that Markus Crane is a name that constantly, he was always doing some type of work with GCW. He passed away basically over the weekend going into today. What a crappy way to pretty much start off the week, right? I mean, you just think about all of the other wrestlers that we've lost in 2021 alone. I mean, look, this is just a snapshot. Honestly, this is just a snapshot. But leading up to right now, look, there's definitely some names I'm going to be missing from this list, but Bobby Eaton, Butch Reed, Daphne, Jimmy Crockett Jr., Jody Assassin Hamilton, New Jack, Paul Orndorff, Ryan Sakota, The Patriot, Angelo Mosca, Barry Orton, Blackjack Lanza, Buddy Colt, Corporal Krenchner, Don Cronoldi. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right. My aligners are a little Cronold, Kernoodle. Again, aligners. I'm butchering that name, but Dominic DiNucci. Hey, I can get that off my tongue without any problems. Jimmy Rave, Josephitz Hudson, Melissa Coates. There's definitely a few more names as far as wrestling goes of folks that have passed away this year. And sadly, we got one more name that we got to add to that list, and that pretty much comes in the form of Markus Crane. Young man. Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. They pretty much had put out the information on their social media feeds earlier today about his passing and everything. And he wasn't really the same, as he was involved in some type of a accident almost 3 years ago. And he pretty much wasn't really the same after that. Did he have a couple of hiccups along the way? Did he have some personal demons? Yeah, he did. But at the same time, he also did a phenomenal job in turning his life around for the better. And by all accounts from those that were closely with him, were in a really good position where they were able to have his friendship, his brotherhood and all that. Said he was a great individual, just one of the kindest people that you could definitely get to know. Shout out to Kimberly as well. I know she had said some stuff about him earlier today when she found out the news, because she was one that stayed doing stuff for GCW and everything. She was pretty devastated with this. If you want to get a little bit familiar with him, I know probably one of the best highlights of his career would have to be when you rewind it back to, I want to say 2018, or was it it's either 2018 or 2019 was when he did some stuff with the Invitational. There was a series of invitational matches that he was involved in. And if you see me looking down, I'm just making sure the little one is, because I got to be prepared. She may want to go to the bathroom. But he was involved in the Invitational Finals, if you guys recall. He did some stuff there with Nick Gage. He also did some stuff, I think there's like a Japanese death match involving Isama Kodaka, and there was something with Takeda. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right. So those were probably like the biggest highlights, main highlights of his wrestling career and everything. As far as what happened to him, there is no cause of death right now. I want to make sure that you guys really walk away. If there is one thing you definitely home in on as far as the official cause of death, that is not known right now. We're probably not going to know that for a couple of weeks. Toxology report and all that, autopsy, all of that's got to come in. It's got to do its thing. That's going to be some weeks, but he definitely, as I said, there was something that went down with him where he was involved in a accident a couple of years ago, back in 2019. He had suffered a significant brain injury. And as a result of that brain injury nearly took his life. So, I mean, he was that close to just and being gone, but he made a miraculous recovery. And yeah, and then all of this had happened. Now, there was also something else that had happened where, if I remember correctly, the brain injury that he has sustained 2 years ago, I thought I read something where there was something going on where they had to do some type of surgery, and there was something that they had to remove that was surrounding his brain. I could have sworn, I'll have to rely on you guys, I could have sworn maybe I had read something like that. But maybe at the same time, that was also tied into the recovery that he ultimately had made and everything. But your guess is as good as mine. What had ultimately, it's coming back to me now. December of 2019, doctors had discovered that there was an infection that was somewhere around his skull, and basically that infection was leaking into his brain, and so they pretty much had to go and they removed a portion of his skull so that they could go in, do what they need to do, clean it up and everything. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine if it was complications to that eventually caught up to him. You know, that's just pure speculation right now. I'm sure that at a much later date, if the family cares to put any information out there, then that's at their discretion. But we should give the family, friends, colleagues, their respected space, give them time to mourn and everything. Now, look, if anything happens as far as a GoFundMe, I will definitely let you guys know. You know how we've been on this show now. Every single time something involving a GoFundMe with a wrestler, and you know, it's like all hands on deck. Like, if you can give, great. I will definitely let you guys know about it. Speaking of GoFundMes, I want to give a shout out to those of you that had made donations so far to Jimmy Rave's memorial. I know that there were some of you that did not care for the AEW exclusive cards. Some of you were just like, look, I just want to go ahead and I just want to donate just to be donating. You know, I'm honestly good. I'm honestly good with the cards. You know, I just want to do it just to be helping. And then there were those of you that honestly, you didn't have any money and you did the next best thing, which is what I always ask of you. Share the link in your respective social media feeds. Get other people aware, get other people involved in everything. I do want to give a particular shout out, though, to one of our listeners and supporters of the show. I mean, I didn't even have the video up for 5 hours, and he saw it because he subscribed to the YouTube channel and all that. And as soon as he saw it, he felt the need to act. And I definitely want to give him mad props. And if you bear with me a second here, I can tell you exactly. Bear with me here. Jonathan Duncan. I didn't even have to. I was just getting ready to open up the email here, but his name came to me just like that. Jonathan Duncan. I got to give a shout out to him. He had came through with a GoFundMe donation to Jimmy Rave's memorial, and he hit me up, and I said, all right. I said, you're actually one of the first. Like the day that I made the video, he represented, and he said, hey, look, I made a contribution. You know, good thing that you're doing. Appreciate you. Keep doing the good work. Love you. It's just nice to be able to help a family out and everything. And I said, yeah, I said, no doubt. Like, what card would you like? He said, let me get the Bryan Danielson. So Bryan Danielson's card is now off. What I have remaining is 2 CM Punk cards. And I have a 1 Adam Cole card. So if you missed it going into the Christmas holiday, I know a lot of you guys pretty much, I did the same thing. I laid low as we were going into the Christmas holiday. I tried to stay off social media as much as possible. So I'm like you guys, if that's how you rode. But if you missed it, basically anybody that makes at least a $30 donation to the Jimmy Rave Memorial, I will show me proof, show me screenshots, right? Whole 9 yards, show me something. But you got to show me proof that you made a donation. And I will ship off one of those cards of your choosing. So if any of those cards you'd be interested in, definitely hit me up and let me know. And it's available on a first come, first serve. If you're following me throughout social media, I've done a fantastic job of pretty much, okay, this card is now off the books. This is what remains. So once you've made the donation, you know, just hit me up with a email. The RCWR show at Gmail. Again, the RCWR show at gmail.com. Make sure you put in the THG, and I will gladly get everything rolling. Jonathan, I think, because I got his tracking and confirm information, I don't think he's going to be getting that card until maybe Tuesday, possibly Wednesday, considering, some of the shipping delays that we've experienced recently as a nation and all that, right? I mean, you guys understand. But I'm very, very good. One thing that everybody that has won some type of prize from me over the years will tell you, when I say I'm going to ship it on this day, I freaking ship it. I'm very good at communicating with you guys. So do that. And look, even if you don't want to, if you're not interested in the card, but you just want to make a donation, then definitely do that. Definitely do it. I'm sure that family will greatly appreciate it. And for those of you that are curious, as far as you guys wanted to know, because I know some of you guys actually do care, and you want to know what exactly is going on with their financial goal, they're still staggering, man. $11,206 has been raised, and their goal is to hit at least $20,000. And his daughter had set this up. His daughter is the one that had organized this, and she actually had endorsed what we were doing. I basically, all I did, I at her on Twitter to basically, let her know pretty much we were doing this thing, and she liked it, she supports it, she liked and retweeted it. So if it's got her endorsement, that should be pretty solid for you guys and all that. But I'm trying to get a little bit more information there, because it looks like there's some stuff that's going on with the daughter and I guess Jimmy Rave's now ex-girlfriend, under the circumstance, because there's a bunch of personal items, memorabilia, that I think the ex-girlfriend's name is Gabby Gilbert. I believe that's the name. There's a lot of stuff that she's sitting on, and she's not giving it to the immediate family. If you go on Kayla Guffey is the daughter of Jimmy Rave. If you go on her social media page, she talks about it, and it's just kind of one of those, what the hell is going on here? It's kind of one of those type of deals. But yes, as soon as any type of GoFundMe, memorial service, as soon as anything is going on there in regards to our man Markus Crane, I will definitely let you guys know. Besides that, some other stuff that was going on over the weekend, still knocked out. That is good. She is still knocked out. There was a WWE Super Show that came about from Madison Square Garden. I see one of the things that kind of has some people talking is the fact that I guess our guy that had attacked Seth Rollins at the Barclays Center, he recently did an interview. And, look, it's obvious that the people that were interviewing him they were egging him on, right? It's pretty obvious that they were egging him on. But I wouldn't spend 10 minutes of my time even giving that man the time or day, right? But no, what was most startling was, considering what all had went down at the event at the Barclays Center, security brought into question. We talked about it at great length, especially given my 10 years of experience working in the security industry and all that. I looked at it from very respected angles that most folks aren't going to be talking about on shows, because they don't have that kind of experience that I have. And very startling to see how everything was kind of laid out at MSG. It's basically rinse, repeat, but luckily, knock on wood, nothing crazy had went down there at the Super Show. And the question about THM, am I keeping the stuff that's displayed in my house? Yes. That's like the most oddest question. Like, longtime listeners can appreciate this. Longtime listeners remember when we started off this show, this was all empty in the background. And for those of you that's kind of like, what's going on, Lee, in the chat? First of all, you should really join us live when we do the shows, because we have a nice little chat. Chat room's open. I'm usually poking my head, seeing what everybody is saying in there. So the question I was asked by THM, I thought he was asking a question about the Sting figure earlier, but what he was wondering was the stuff that is on display in my man cave. Basically, am I keeping it? And longtime listeners remember when I first started this show back in 2011, this entire room was naked. It is naked. Okay, so now THM is clarifying. Dude, get your shit right, man. What are you trying to say? Get your shit right. I didn't say you are keeping it. I said, where are you displaying the Sting? Okay, so see, you got to go back. See, this is why I always say to people, and I'm not picking on you, THM, but this is why I always tell people, think before you send. Even I do that myself. There are some things that I be getting ready to put out there on social media, including in chat rooms, and I got to think real quick before I hit send. The one thing I got to think is not that I'm second guessing myself. It's, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yes, that's great. Send. If I have one little pet peeve, and it's only Twitter related, really, I hate the fact that once I hit send, I can't go back and I can't edit, because I'm very particular. I hate when I misspell something. That's my pet peeve when it comes to Twitter. I hate when I misspell something. And whether it's a very valid point or it's just shits and giggles, I hate when I misspell something, and I hate that I'm not able to go back, edit it, clean it up. And it's like my only other choice is delete. Just delete the whole freaking tweet and then do it again. Now, Twitter is doing that. What is it? Twitter Blue, where they're doing a $2.99 thing where you can go in and, right? But from the people that have already coughed up the money, taking that out on a trial run, they've pretty much said, yeah, it's not worth the $2.99. The whole stuff about editing your tweets, you only have, but I think it's a 2-minute or a 3-minute window to edit whatever that tweet was that you just put out. And then afterwards, that's pretty much it. Like, you're shit out of luck. So like, well, why pay the whole $2.99 for? But to answer the question, Sting is actually, you can't see it, but Sting is actually on top of the sofa right next to the WWE Championship. You guys probably will never see it, but the wall that's basically over here and off to my respected left, eventually I'll probably do some type of a wall section where I'm just hanging up figures in their original packaging, and I'm probably just going to have it all on that respected wall. But for the time being, I pretty much got it chilling on the sofas here. Matter of fact, if I can just pull up my real-time camera here, give me a second here. Basically, it's right next to the Chris Jericho triple whammy bobblehead that's right next to the Keanu Reeves Cyberpunk main character there. That's basically where the Sting figure is right now, till I can properly hang it up. So look, I was talking about the WWE Super Show from MSG. I didn't even get into the results. Let's get into that, because otherwise we're gonna have us a long show. And from here on out, I love the interactions with you guys, but let's try to keep the questions to, I love the questions really, but you got to keep in mind I got a little one now. And the last thing I want to do is she wakes up and she's got a potty, and then we got to interrupt the show live so I can have her use the bathroom. Wifey can't do it because she's got to sleep. She's got to get up for work at 4 a.m. So it's all on me right now. So the quicker we can, I don't mind asking, oh, sorry, little one. I don't mind going through a couple of questions, especially if it's on topic, you know, especially if I'm bringing it up. But let's try to get through this show together as quickly as we can, mainly because of the little one here. So, yeah, they announced, WWE, that is, they announced apparently at the MSG show over the weekend that some of the stars that were advertised for this show, they were not going to be able to appear because of what's going on with the COVID Omicron variant and everything. Layman's terms, some folks tested positive, others as a precaution, keeping them away from this event, right? And considering MSG New York, we were just talking about New York last week when it came to Saturday Night Live. If you checked out Wrestling with the Topics, I had released it on Christmas Eve. That pretty much kept you guys company going into the weekend and all that. We talked about the effects of COVID on Saturday Night Live's final show for 2021 and how they were operating with a skeleton crew, all because of what was going on out there in New York and how they've been dealing with that Omicron variant. So WWE, they were affected by this drastically for their MSG show. So for their MSG show, one of the surprises that they had pulled was Edge. Edge had came out, nice pop from the crowd. Kevin Owens came out as well, and that pretty much set up the main event match, basically. Finn Balor defeated T-Bar. Alpha Academy defeated Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode for the NXT Championship. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Pete Dunne. Meanwhile, Natalya defeated Nikki Ash. Rhea Ripley defeated Natalya. Raw Tag Team Championship match. Check this out. Randy Orton and Riddle defeated the Mysterios and the Street Profits. For the United States Championship, Damian Priest defeated Miz. AJ Styles defeated Omos. And in a steel cage main event match, Edge defeated Kevin Owens. Mad respect to Edge, seriously, because Edge could have easily just said, nah, you know what? I'm good. I'm just going to show up for the flagship show, and I'm just going to show up for the pay-per-views. I'm pretty much good. I'm not doing that. Mad shout out to Edge for doing that, seriously, because I think if that would have been any one of us, we probably would have just been like, yeah, nah, sorry, nah, not doing it. Nope. But yeah, I'm very curious how that main event match was. I'm very, very curious. So shout out to those that's in the New York area, because I know we got listeners in the New York area. I would love to hear the firsthand experience of how that show had went. But most importantly, that main event match. I'm most curious, how was the main event? Was it fully enjoyable? And all of that good stuff. But that wasn't all that had went down over the weekend. There was loads more wrestling action that had occurred as well. Real quick, though, if you guys been enjoying yourselves so far, and I know you have been, do me a huge favor if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, you really help do a good job putting more eyeballs on the product, especially in regards to content like this. Really helps out a great ton. And definitely make sure you subscribe. Hitting that subscribe, clicking on that bell notification always keeps you in the loop on other content that comes your way. There was also a WWE live event the day after Christmas. Check this out. This was down in Tampa, Florida. And this happened where the main event match was changed because of what was going on with COVID. The main event match originally was supposed to be a 6-man tag match that was featuring, I think, Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns was supposed to be featured in that 6-man tag match. But this is what had came about from that Florida event. Kofi Kingston defeated Sami Zayn. Xia Li defeated Shotzi Blackheart. Ridge Holland defeated Mansoor. SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Usos defeated Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Meanwhile, Cesaro and Ricochet defeated the Viking Raiders and Los Barrios. Ridge Holland, again, defeated Mansoor. Oh, no, we already talked about that. We already covered that. See. Happy Corbin defeated Rick Boggs. SmackDown Women's Championship match. Charlotte Flair defeated Sasha Banks. And Main event match, you had a Tampa street fight match. Sheamus defeating Drew McIntyre. So those were your events that happened from there. Also, show some love here to AEW Dark Elevation for this week. Here's your results for this week's AEW Dark Elevation. Dark Order's Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and 10 defeated Brandon Scott, Fodder. I'm not saying father, I'm saying Fodder, Fodder, and JR Miller. Meanwhile, Thunder Rosa defeated Danny Moe. Anthony Ogogo defeated Duncan Mitchell. Santana and Ortiz, meanwhile, picked up a victory over Alexander Moss and Movie Mike. Sean Spears defeated Lee Morty. Gun Club picked up a win over Dark Order's Alan Angels, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. Tay J, Anna J, and Ty Conti defeated Diamante and Emi Sakura. And main event, Matt Hardy picking up a victory over Darius Lockhart. Now, I am aware of AEW Rampage. I actually did cover Rampage on Christmas Day. So after I was done enjoying the activities with the family and hanging out with wifey and everything, enjoying a nice dinner, I actually did have a nightcap by checking out AEW Rampage. I did my usual live coverage, reporting and all that for 411 Mania. And look, if there was ever a main reason to check out Rampage from this past weekend, honestly, the TNT Championship match. Sammy Guevara defending against Cody. Look, I definitely agree with the comments that are coming in about Cody. I truly, I feel where you guys are coming from. I couldn't really go there in my review because to go there in my review would have looked very biased. Very, very biased. And last thing I wanted to do was come off as a hater. Now, could I have brought it up in a way where I'm looking at all sides? Yes. And trust me when I say going forward, I'm still learning on the job here when it comes to giving my reviews, my instant reactions, and, things of that nature when I'm doing these reports. But I definitely, right down to the point, I agreed by interacting with some of the comments on my review for the show afterwards. Those that are feeling as though what happened with Sammy, look, I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is long-winded. Sammy's title reign should not have ended. It was still very fresh. It was still in its infancy phase. I didn't think anything much of Rampage when I was getting ready to watch it tonight. I thought, or over the weekend, I thought for sure Sammy was going to get that dub. I was that confident. I thought for sure he was going to get that dub. And what's even more mind-boggling, like I had said in the chat, I said, if it was a case where AEW was just not going to have anything to do with TNT, wasn't going to be no original specials, Rampage was even being pulled, and that was going to TBS as well, then it's kind of one of those, okay, you know what? All right, sure. When I think about one of the first matches that had came about for Cody Rhodes and AEW, the joint with Sammy Guevara did come about, right? One of the first matches, right? So I kind of think about that, and it's okay. So you got some nice little history that's there, but if it would have ended in a way where, okay, that's it, no more AEW on TNT, then yeah, that would have made all the sense in the world. Oh, look at this. Cody is doing heel-like things during this match. Oh, Cody became the TNT champion because he picked up a victory. The dirty way. He won by crook. He did shenanigans. If he was doing stuff like that, I could even go, okay, but he wrestled in that match straight up babyface. I mean, damn, we ain't even getting no shenanigans from Arn Anderson at ringside. So your guess is as good as mine. What exactly is going on here with Cody? Look, if they're doing a slow burner and ultimately they are going to pull that trigger, look, I'm kicking back. I'm trying to enjoy the ride. I'm trying. Really, I'm trying. They definitely gave us a incentive for checking out this week's AEW programming on TNT and TBS, because the way it's looking, the way you're looking at this, you're going, okay, well, not for nothing, but since they're doing this, surely they got some plans there for Sammy. Yeah. One thing that I thought was kind of cool, though, if it kind of makes some of you guys feel a little bit better, just kind of looking down the pipeline a little bit. One thing that was kind of interesting, once Rampage went off the air, I think it was Tony Khan. Yeah, Tony Khan had made some announcement. He talked about how great, he talked about how great the crowd was. And he said, the South Carolina crowd I'm talking about for Rampage. He talked about how good they were, how awesome of a crowd they were, and thanked them for the memories and all that. And he said something along the lines of, the next time we come back here to South Carolina, you guys are going to be seeing Hook and Cody get it on. Now, I don't know if he said that after Rampage went off the air, or if he said that after, you know what, I'm getting my shows mixed up. He said that after Wednesday's Dynamite, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure you guys will correct me. So if you're going to put Cody in this position that he's in now, where he's the AEW champion, and you want to give somebody the ultimate freaking rub off, maybe you have Cody drop the TNT championship to Hook. That's something that could definitely happen down the pipeline. Me personally, for selfish reasons, I love what was going on with Miro. I was expecting Miro to hold on to that championship much longer. That's always an option that they could do. You can always go the Malachi Black route as well. And in regards to the spoilers, I guess for this past week's Rampage, I don't do the spoilers. I don't do the spoilers. To each its own. I do not do spoilers. No, I refuse to do that. I want to be able to enjoy the show pretty much in real time like everybody else. I am still part of that select few that's out there and tries to play it close to the vest, and I think that should be a no-brainer for you guys that I operate that way, because I think we talked about it we did. We mentioned it when we were doing the 30 with Lee, and I had said to you guys, as far as spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, I dodged the hell out of them. I only knew 2 things about Spider-Man. And one of them basically was Doctor Strange is in the movie. The other thing that I had knew about, I think it's kind of safe to say now, I don't think it's really spoiling the movie. The other thing that I knew was Doc Ock was going to be in it. But other than that, I didn't know anything else. I didn't want to know anything else, to kind of echo what I said on that 30 with Lee, not to rehash. But I did my part to honor dodging spoilers, any leaked information. So that same mentality, that is the same mentality that I have when it comes to checking out TV shows and other stuff. So, yeah, I remember there used to be a time where we used to go over spoilers, and then I kind of realized the hard way that just really took the fun out of making the investment in checking out that respected show. So teach its own, but for me, I don't care for it. Now, when it comes to WWE main event, like stuff like that, I don't mind knowing what the matches are. so I can pass that info along. If you notice, usually it comes to certain shows, I'll usually say, here's the matches for this week. Or I'll say, here's the results. I try to warn you guys usually beforehand about some stuff that I'm getting ready to get into. Let's keep rocking and rolling though. So that was that. I remember something had went down with New Japan over the weekend. I'm trying to see. Oh, give me a second here, guys. My arm is getting. I'm just glad you're still sleepy. Let's see here. Yeah, I had something here in regards to New Japan, but looks like it didn't make it here in the show notes. I will hook you guys up on Wednesdays. Oh, you okay, little buddy? Just hiccuping. Okay, good. Are you all right? All right, good. This week's AEW Dark Elevation, though. Here's the card for this week, to my point. Here's the card for this week's Dark Elevation. Oh, no. We just did that, didn't we? Yeah, we already did that. Oh, man, age. You guys got to forgive me. Let's talk Raw. So episode. Quickest Raw recap I'm going to be doing here. I think after we get past Raw, we can pretty much, what are we now in? About an hour into the show? Yeah, bullseye. We're at bullseye. Right at about an hour into the show. Oh, hang on, guys. Well, hi, how you doing? Hi, you okay? Yeah, that's Daddy's microphone. You want to say hello to the kind people real quick? Huh? You want to say hello? You probably getting hot, aren't you? Yeah, big yawn. Yeah. Yeah, she's awake now. Let's see here. There we go. I put her in my Santa hat. It was one of the first things she had took a liking to, and she hasn't kept her eyes off of it since. Between that and my Mr. Bill figure, she loves those two. All right, so Raw. This is like the quickest freaking Raw recap. I'm telling you guys that right now. I took my notes, much like I do with Rampage, taking notes of how long these matches had lasted tonight. Look, matches total, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. But you break down the length of these matches, we're talking 7 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 2 minutes there, 10 minutes here. Pretty short and sweet when it's all said and done. And we're talking about a 3-hour show. So you guys do the math with those numbers that I just gave you guys. We're lucky if that's even 50 minutes, 40 minutes even. Well, actually, no, you're at about, 50 minutes. You're lucky if that's even close to 50 minutes. Those time limits that I just gave you there, those time lengths of those matches. Riddle taking on Gable. Riddle picking up a victory over Gable, 7 minutes and change. Nice opener to WWE Raw. The one thing that I will say that I enjoyed about this was the fact that we're continuing on here with the Alpha Academy and their interest in sticking it to RK Bro. So I like that we've got that drama that's going on while also at the same time RK Bro is trying to focus on that Bro tournament to figure out who's going to be the next number one contenders to face them for their tag titles, which we did actually see tonight who the new number one contenders are going to be. And I would imagine that's going to be playing itself out at day one this weekend. But again, card is subject to change. We got to make sure we really stress that card is subject to change, y'all, because with this freaking Omicron variant, very challenging right now. We'll talk about it a lot more, but I like that more emphasis has been put on, Randy Orton, Riddle. They can have challengers from just any and everywhere, right? So I like that additional drama that we got going on in the tag division right now. I like that big time. Otis taking on Randy Orton, 3-minute match. Randy Orton picking up a win over Otis and pretty much RKOing his ass. See, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, which is, y'all remember when Otis had picked up a rare win? I don't know if it was against Orton. I got to go back and look at the show notes. But I remember saying something along the lines of, okay, that's great that we've got Otis who just randomly picked up this win out of nowhere. That's great, but it doesn't exactly feel as if we're going to be building. It doesn't exactly feel like we're going to be building from this. It just feels like we were just doing something for 1 week and we're not really doing anything truly that's going to really benefit Otis here. So what was the point of just giving him this dub? I don't know if you guys remember that, but I brought that up some weeks back. And this kind of further validates that point that I had made in regards to Otis here. So, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm able to look at the pluses as well. Look, Otis looked pretty damn strong. I mean, he didn't make it exactly look easy for Randy Orton here. You know, look, for me personally, what would have been really badass would have been to see Otis, even after he had got that freaking RKO, would have been pretty badass to see Otis kick out of that motherfucker. Then just to have the commentators mark the hell out. Dude, do you know how rare it is that somebody kicks out of a Randy Orton finisher there? Like, what the hell is Randy Orton going to do? Randy Orton goes in, delivers another freaking RKO. And maybe that pretty much does Otis in and, you know, it's over and done with. But again, this really, by design, was all about setting up additional foes, continuing on with the rivalry that's been going on there between RK Bro and Team Alpha Academy. I'm totally down with that. Meanwhile, Truth and Dana Brooke, they teamed up to face Tamina and Dana Brooke teamed up with Reginald. Forgive me there. She teamed up with Reginald to take on the team of R-Truth and Tamina. Intergender tag matchup, 2 minutes. Bullshit you not. 2 minutes of a match. Dana Brooke, Reginald picking up the win. I'm very surprised that after the match was over, none of the guys came out, or even women for that matter, came out to try to do the little Benny Hill joint, chasing around Dana Brooke for her 24/7 championship. All of a sudden, a woman, just think about that for a second. All of a sudden, a woman wins the 24/7 championship. Not that this is the first time we've seen a woman with the 24/7 championship. Let's be clear here, okay? Let's be clear here. But all of a sudden, with Dana Brooke winning the championship, all of a sudden, I guess everybody suffered from the Thanos snap. Nobody knows how to come out and go chasing after her ass for the title. Nobody said you had to beat the living crap out of Dana Brooke to get that 24/7 championship. All you had to do was just pretty much pin her on her back to the floor, get the 1, 2, 3, roll out. Yeah, this wasn't even a bathroom break moment, because like I said, it was 2 minutes. I really don't even understand what the hell was the whole point in having this on TV, except for the fact that, hey, not everybody that maybe higher ups wanted to have on Raw this week couldn't, and they pretty much just had to work with what they had, right? Work with the deck that you got. That's usually what you do when you're playing a game of Magic the Gathering, right? That's usually what you do. Mysterio's taking on Street Profits finals of the Bro Tournament. This actually, for all the matches, for what it was worth, most competitive of the entire night. Most entertaining, most competitive. If there was one match I just go, yeah, not for nothing, that was actually pretty good. And I'm not just saying that considering that there was just piles and piles of average, mediocre blah throughout this show tonight. But without a shadow of doubt, tell me differently, Mysterio Street Profits actually was a pretty good tag match. AJ Styles taking on Apollo Crews, actually picking up the win over Apollo Crews. 10 minutes of a match. That was good for what it was worth. No Omos. No Omos. We saw AJ come out there. He cut a promo on Omos, begged him to come on out there to the ring. Omos did not accept the challenge. AJ, prior to his match with Apollo Crews, sees that in the crowd is one Grayson Waller from WWE's NXT 2.0. And if you've been watching NXT 2.0, you guys know that Grayson Waller and AJ, they've been going back and forth and everything. What now, this marks, I guess, 2 weeks in a row now that they've been doing their thing here. So, look, no matter how I may personally feel about some of these men and women that I'm seeing on the roster between all these shows, including 2.0, I personally, I'm not there yet on the Grayson Waller character. Maybe I'll get there in due time. It didn't take me that long to start becoming a fan of Tony D'Angelo. But as it stands right now, you all right, little buddy? But as it stands right now, when it comes to Grayson Waller, I'm just not there yet. But one major plus that I will give for WWE, I love the fact that we're doing a better job in doing this cross-branding between your main flagship shows in Raw and SmackDown and incorporating the developmental at NXT 2.0. I will definitely give WWE overall mad kudos for doing that. I got one little caveat I got to stick in here, though, in regards to this whole AJ Grayson Waller thing. So we have, let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So we have Grayson Waller. Hi. Oh, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. So we have Grayson Waller. He's trying to get himself noticed and everything. AJ invites him into the ring and all that. And, they're continuing to go back and forth, a little jibber jabber back and forth. Apollo Crews interrupts. Loves the fact that AJ no longer has his big man in Omos. And pretty much we get like this instant Acme feud where AJ is now fighting Apollo one-on-one. You would have thought that Grayson Waller would have stuck around to watch the match. Like WWE would set this up. Like, okay, we're going to set this up, right? Grayson Waller's in attendance. He's watching. He's egging AJ on and all of that. I thought for sure they were going to design it in a way where Waller was definitely going to be there. Either maybe he was going to cost AJ the match, or once AJ picked up the win and all that, Waller was basically going to look on unimpressed, and that pretty much was going to be the end of it. And he would have been talking mad trash on Tuesday's NXT. I thought for sure we were going to be kind of going in one of those directions, and we did not go in any of those directions. It's like you come back from commercial break. No Grayson Waller in sight. No mention of him. It is as if Grayson Waller suffered the Thanos snap, and that was it for him. I just thought that was kind of odd the way they had that segment set up. I don't know about you guys, but I just personally thought that was weird how they set that up. Kevin Owens picking up a victory over Cedric Alexander. 2 minutes. What a disservice to my man Cedric Alexander. That should have been a much longer match. You could have easily gotten at least 10 minutes out of that. And then for KO to just boom, stunner to Shelton Benjamin. I gotta tell you, I was really looking forward to seeing a Shelton Benjamin Kevin Owens match, because it seemed as though that's where we were going to be going next. It felt as if, okay, you took out one former member of the Hurt Business. All right, let's see if you can make lightning strike twice. And then I thought for sure there was going to just be a double beatdown on Kevin Owens afterwards. And maybe it was going to, like, this was by design per se. You could have made an argument that maybe this was MVP's whole thing all along or whatever, trying to do what he can to put the odds in really good favor for Bobby Lashley going into the day one pay-per-view here. I really thought that would have been the narrative that would have been told here tonight, seeing Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin get involved here and trying to stick it to Kevin Owens, while also at the same time pleading their case for why Hurt Business should be back on the saddle again, full team and all. Kind of dropped the ball here on that one for me personally. They really dropped the ball here on that one. Priest, Dolph Ziggler, United States Championship match. Priest retaining the championship, 10 minutes of a match. You know, for what that was worth, that was actually good. That was actually a decent match. I mean, look, we kind of know by now when it comes to Dolph Ziggler, it's Dolph Ziggler. We know he's losing. But then there's those moments where you just go, whoa, didn't see that coming from our man Dolph. Can't believe he actually got that dub there. What the hell and everything. But average match for what it was worth. I kind of felt the ending of it was kind of weak, because this ended in another fucking DQ. So let me set this up properly. Basically, Broken Arrow gets a 2 count. Ziggler comes right back with a quick DDT. Not able to finish off Priest by doing that, though. So he actually slaps him in the face. Ziggler, that is, slaps Damian Priest in the face. And, you know, the past couple of weeks, we've been seeing this Bill Bixby, Incredible Hulk, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde persona. It's gotten to a point now where Damian is referring to this in third person, basically, like it's some different persona. He's like, you don't want to see Damian come out, whatever. So Damian comes out. He is just belligerent. I mean, he just freaking snaps, and he's beating the crap out of Ziggler in a corner. Ref is counting him down to get out of the corner, give Ziggler his space, back off. He's not abiding by the ref's rules, and there's your DQ at the 10-minute mark. Yeah, I just was not feeling the ending to it, because I felt it was a decent little match. You know, this is kind of one of the ways that WWE likes to try to extend feuds that honestly don't even really need to be extended here. Decent match, but the ending, I mean, look, was the ending kind of crappy? Yeah, but if you're trying to continue to spin that narrative about Damian Priest trying to keep his demons in check, his anger in check here. Yeah. So, of course, looking at this, you know what this means, right? Another match between Dolph Ziggler and Damian Priest. Is that going to go down maybe at day one? Or maybe on next week's Raw programming? Have to wait and see. Miz versus, I wish it was Miz versus Maryse. Edge, Maryse, Miz, Wedding Renewal segment. Eric Bischoff back on TV. Great seeing Eric Bischoff back. Big fan of Eric Bischoff. Oh. You all right? What's wrong? You getting hot? You all right? Okay. I don't know. We'll see what happens here, guys. Oh, she's good. I think I was just getting her down a little too low. All right, but wedding segment there. Look, Eric Bischoff, contrary to how some people may feel, like I see what you guys are saying in the chat. I see something about Bischoff is a clown. We know why he's slagging AEW off secretly on WWE's paybook. Look, let me tell you something when it's all said and done. Whether some of you girls and guys like it or not, unless said or let me rephrase it this way. Unless that particular wrestler or on-air personality is under a exclusive contract, guess what, guys? Whether you like it or not, guys like Eric Bischoff, all of them, JJ Dillon, all those guys, these are all independent contractors. They are free to work for whoever, whenever. Whoever, whenever. If that means Monday, Eric Bischoff does something for Monday Night Raw, and then Wednesday you see him on AEW Dynamite, Saturday you see him on NWA, and Sunday you see him doing something at Triple Mania, I'm looking at that, and no bullshit, I'm going, God damn. Must be nice when you can just pretty much zigzag like that and pretty much do business with all of those respected promotions. And you're not just tied down to one freaking promotion. Must be nice. Does Eric Bischoff need the money? No, most likely not. You know, I would have liked to imagine that the podcast that he's been doing with Conrad has been doing respectfully pretty good. I wouldn't think that it's probably putting in the type of numbers that Cornette and them are bringing in, but I would like to believe that he's doing pretty damn good for his own, with his own respected brand and all of that. But you know what? If Eric Bischoff is going to be that clown for basically picking up his phone and getting involved in a segment where, okay, again, it's not exactly about the money. Sometimes it's just honestly all about having your name out there, building your brand up and all of that, getting excitement, getting attention, getting buzz out there for your podcast, because a lot of people are going to want to tune into your next show and they're going to want to hear about how that all had came about, working with WWE again, any interesting side stories, inside stories that he could share and all of that good stuff. I mean, if he's going to be a clown in the process of, or labeled a clown, well, you know what? He's probably going to be that clown. Now, I can respect it if anybody has that kind of mentality and it's like, oh man, that guy's just whoring himself out. I mean, look at this guy. He's over here. He's over there. I've been everywhere, man. Like, okay. I just need that same passion. I just need that same energy. I just need that same criticism when you see Eric Bischoff pop up on insert. Right? So that's just hilarious that some people are thinking like that. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about, that I try not to have you guys go in that respected direction. I try not to have you guys go in that respected direction, because it would be very easy to just fuck WWE, get a bunch of hits and all that good shit, or fuck AEW, get a bunch of likes and all that other causing controversy. It'd be very easy to do some shit like that. But anyway, why don't we just focus on the good? It was good seeing Eric Bischoff on WWE TV. Really, it was good. But if I could have had it my way, of all the segments to be involved in, I wouldn't have had him involved in that. I would not have had him involved in that. Me personally, if I could have just a magical wand and the show could have been entirely different, I think honestly what would have been great for one night only, especially since there was no Sonya Deville, there was no Adam Pearce, and they have practically been on every single episode of Monday Night Raw. There has been some representation of them since they have in storyline came into power, and they've been on Monday Night Raw, one of them or both of them, every single week. This would have been one of those great rare times where your show could have opened up and you're like, oh man, we got some interesting developing news right here. Not really sure what's going on, but I know the superstars in the back, they've been wondering what's going on with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville as they've been trying to touch base with them going into tonight's show, but we're in the dark, folks. We don't know what's going on with this show tonight. Cue up the music of Eric Bischoff, and you could have had Eric Bischoff pop up, great ovation from the crowd, and basically Eric Bischoff could have said, due to whether it's true or not, he could have said, pull something from the headlines. Due to what's going on with personal air travels, Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce, they could not be here tonight. So I got a call from McMahon or the McMahons or whatever. They asked me if I would be so kind as to step in for them here tonight, one night only. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And it would have been great to have Eric Bischoff just in that capacity, because honestly, that's the Eric Bischoff that many of us came to know and love, right? So I think that would have been more interesting, right? And just to see him in his different interactions with certain wrestlers. I would have loved to seen him interact with Kevin Owens. I'd have loved to seen him interact with MVP. I would have loved to seen him interact with Edge. You could have done some nice little stuff throughout the night. And if you still wanted to go in the direction of Eric Bischoff being involved in the wedding segment, okay, sure. What the hell? But that's how I would have set it up for Eric Bischoff tonight. Tonight just felt so weak sauce with the way that whole segment played out between Miz Maryse renewing their wedding vows, Edge coming out there. I mean, you just smelled it from a mile away that something was going to go on. The question was whether Beth Phoenix was maybe going to come out and do something, because a lot of people were thinking, and I got to admit, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I talked about it weeks ago. Hey, Beth Phoenix, Edge, Maryse, Miz, let's go. So the fact that didn't happen, but going into tonight, I was thinking we were going to get to see Beth Phoenix try to help balance out the odds there, or Miz and Maryse were going to get drenched. I was really, really hoping for Beth Phoenix. You guys have no idea how like, please, Beth, please, even the odds. Now, look, maybe something will still happen at day one involving Beth Phoenix. We'll have to wait and see. But as far as that whole segment, that was just bullshit. That was weak sauce on so many levels. Oh, they got hit with a big old fucking gallon of Hershey's Cocoa Mix. Whoopie fucking do. And to just have Eric Bischoff continue to... So let me see if I got this straight. In storyline, you've got Eric Bischoff that's basically saying, if anybody has any objections, let them speak now. Or, oh, well, you know what? I already know how this stuff usually ends, so let's just get on with it already. Soon as Edge's music came on, Eric Bischoff should have just rolled the fuck out of there. Just rolled the fuck out of there. That should have been the end of it. To have Eric Bischoff actually continue to stand in there, Miz and Maryse get drenched with fucking Hershey syrup, and Bischoff standing right there, he gets some of it on him as well. I mean, he's not taking the brute force of it. Maryse and Miz are. But the fact that some is I wouldn't even had Eric Bischoff. As soon as Edge came out, that's it for Bischoff. Bischoff just could have been like, excuse me, folks, good night. Right, and that could have been that. Or, I'll see myself out. Y'all been great. Roll the fuck out. That could have been the end of it. Yeah, but that was just total fucking weak sauce. Look, Edge, Miz, they should have a really good match. They should have a really good match at the pay-per-view when it's all said and done. But, yeah. Oh, I got you, little buddy. I got you. But, yeah, not good, guys. Not good. So, that pretty much was Raw when it's all said and done. I told you, like, the quickest Raw recap review. And look at that. We're, like, at the 29-minute mark right now. So, at this point, we got a couple of more little items that we can get into on the show. And then we are pretty much done. So ratings are in for some of your favorite shows. I saw the ratings there for SmackDown, by the way. Yo, I love that nice little Paul Heyman video package they put together for SmackDown. And look, truly, if Paul Heyman is done at this point, more power to the man. I say, you know what? Let's go on ahead and let's put Paul Heyman in the WWE Hall of Fame already. Let's do it already, right? If truly this is it for him. I mean, not for nothing, but I remember checking out his Inside the Ropes show. 'Cause he's done a couple of them over the years. You know, the guys in the UK and all that. But there was one, I definitely would recommend you guys go out of your way and check it out. But there was one joint where, and it's in clips, but there was one in particular that sticks out to my mind right now where he talks about the pitch to get partnered up with Roman Reigns. And I mean, just the way that Vince McMahon and them, the way that they had pitched it and everything. Originally, Paul Heyman, he just wanted to come back, do his thing with Brock, and pretty much that's it. That's it. He saw how everything, it was pretty much laid out where they were going to be going and everything. What was also pretty cool was the fact that one of the original plans, it was supposed to be CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman in the middle. I won't spoil any more for you guys, but it was just great hearing him revisit that and giving us that bird's eye view, giving us those little crumbs, what all was supposed to be happening there. And just, you know how it is in WWE, especially when it comes to certain matches, especially on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. You think you're going to be going in this direction, but then things switch up and instead you go in a different direction and all that. But it was great how Vince McMahon, he tells this story how Vince McMahon had called him up and basically, "Hey, pal, how you doing? Hey, what are you doing?" And, you know, Heyman's telling him basically, "I'm not doing a damn thing. Like, what do you think I'm doing?" You know, he's like, "I got this idea. How would you like to get paired up?" And Heyman cuts him off. He's like, "No, like, my deal is with Brock. I'm not interested in working with anybody else. I am only interested in working with Brock. And, you know, once the thing with Brock is done, like, that's it. I'm done. Like, nah, I'm really good." And Vince McMahon, you know, ultimately had to tell him, "Look, I'm trying to have you work with Roman Reigns." Paul was just, "Oh, well, all right. Yeah, sure. I'm there." Right. It was one of those type of deals. So check it out. It's actually, it's a pretty funny story and everything. Look, the way they told that story on SmackDown with that Heyman package and then that interview with Kayla Braxton, you know, what's Paul Heyman supposed to do? Go down to NXT, pull some diamond in the rough, and build back up again? Doesn't quite seem as though him and Brock Lesnar, at least in front of the cameras, are going to reunite. So it looks like by all accounts, this is it for Heyman. I still feel, though, that there's going to be some type of a Heyman effect at the Day One pay-per-view. We'll talk a lot more about Day One on Wednesday's show. Yeah, we'll talk a lot more about it. We'll look at the full card and all that good stuff. We'll talk about it then. You so cute. We'll talk about it then. But other than that, SmackDown ratings for this past Friday's show. SmackDown did a... Oh, you all right? All right, pretty girl. SmackDown did a 1.791 million viewers. Down slightly from last week's 2.213 million viewers. Hour 1 did about 1.762 million, while Hour 2 did 1.820 million. So not too shabby. Last Tuesday's NXT, that dropped in their 18 to 49 demo with a 0.11. So that's basically 148,000 viewers. But their viewership did go up again. So this go round, they did about 591,000. Not too shabby. Got to give flowers to AEW for what they did with Dynamite last week. Their Holiday Bash edition, they did over 1 million viewers. 1 million viewers. They haven't seen a million cracking of viewers since the 2 anniversary show back, what was that, October, first week of October of this year. So congrats to AEW for what they did there. So that's pretty good. Now, since Christmas was on a Saturday, I would imagine that, because I don't remember seeing anything about the Rampage rating, I would imagine Rampage, we should definitely know something Tuesday. So when it comes to Wednesday's show, I'll definitely bring it up then for you guys. Other quick notes, it's been relatively quiet, but one thing that definitely had caught my interest, and this isn't long-winded at all, Alberto El Patron, Alberto Del Rio. He recently had put some stuff out there about PAIGE. And as you guys know, we brought about on the show how the charges, what was it, last month against Alberto for sexual assault and all that, it was all dropped and the case was dismissed because the person that had pressed those charges on him and all that, when it counted the most and she needed to arrive at court, actually make her appearance and all of that, she did not. So no representation. It's pretty much, all right, well, this is over and done with. So he pretty much walked away and everything. So he, Alberto El Patron, that is, he talked about how the charges were dropped against him and everything, and that because those charges, I want to make sure you guys home in on the key choice of words that he used here, because it'd be very easy for people to just read his statement and then just move on to the next thing. But it's very interesting that he said, yeah, the charges that were dropped against me, it just proves that I was totally innocent. When it should be, well, no. You should be having your day in court to prove your innocence, just like the person that's accusing you should have their day in court to prove why you are guilty of said charges. And then ultimately, if it is going to need to go to trial and a jury is going to have to decide, then a jury of peers will decide, and then the outcome of that will go accordingly. So I hope you guys are kind of thinking like that in regards to what he put out there. But that's not what was the alarming statement that he put out there. What was the alarming statement that he put out there? I mean, it was just a full 180. So you got this one woman that, you know, put these charges against him and all that. And then just so left field, he brings up his former ex-fiance, Paige, and basically says he has footage, some type of footage, that if he were to release it, it would get Paige fired from the WWE if she ever spoke about him in public again. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that had got my brain going in like second gear, which was, well, wait a minute. What exactly did Paige say about Alberto that would even warrant something like this of a response from Alberto? And so I had to dust off the cobwebs from my head, and I had to go, okay, well, when was the last time that I can recall that Paige even talked about Alberto? I had to rewind it back to, unless I'm wrong, you guys correct me, but I had to rewind it back to the Chasing the Glory podcast with Lillian Garcia, where she talked about some damning and most hurtful things that Alberto put out there about her brother, about her family. And she really honed in on her brother. I mean, just some of the things that she said in that interview. It's definitely, if you haven't listened to it, and you just want to, that part about being in a relationship with Alberto and all that alone, it's definitely worth going out of your way, checking out and all that. But I'm paraphrasing here, but the bullet points that I remember, she was saying, okay, first of all, I don't even know why he's bringing me up. We ain't had no communication. We haven't been a couple in like over a year plus. I know he's moved on. He's in a new relationship just like I am. And look, I am happy for him. I want him to have nothing but continued success. I want him to have nothing but the very best. But at the same time, I want him to leave me alone. I'm minding my own business. I'm not even mentioning his name. It could have been very easy for me to go down the path that he went down, insulting my family, making fun of my brother. You know, my brother has a mental issue or there's something mental related that she brought up a couple of times with her brother. And she basically was saying, yo, Alberto, that's below the belt. How you gonna fucking go there like that? Like, have you no heart? Like, have you no decency? She pretty much was going in that direction. And, you know, she reiterated again, it'd be very easy for her to take shots at Alberto, you know, go low, but she's taking the high road. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She even contacted her family and just said, look, don't even give this guy any attention. Don't even give this guy any press. Let him put whatever he's going to put out there. Don't add fuel to the fire. Y'all just keep doing you just like I'm doing. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Y'all just ignore that guy. You know, and it was amazing because I had to personally go out of my way and research that. Now, normally I do my research when I get ready to do these shows, right? And I'm pretty well prepared for the most part. But this was one of those rare instances where I saw a lot of copy and paste today of this. Alberto threatens he'll get Paige fired. It's like, oh, what's going on? And everybody just kept saying the same thing. And my question was, well, wait a minute. If this guy is saying if Paige ever mentions him again, ever brings up his name again, well, what the hell did Paige say recently that was so... And I did digging after digging after digging, trying to find what Paige had said about Alberto. And the only thing that I was able to come across was the stuff from the Lillian Garcia podcast. If there's something more recent that you guys want to bring to my attention, that you feel you're not defending Alberto, but it's just to Alberto's point, you know, hey, look, this is actually what she said. Maybe it's a more recent interview. I mean, I'm not aware of it, but if there's a more recent interview that she did where she said some unflattering things, you know, but I find this behavior from Alberto to be so juvenile from the standpoint of here is a man that is essentially twice the age of Paige. Really home in on this. Twice the age of Paige. All right. So he's, you know, mindset, all of that. But he's definitely proving that age, right? You think that with the number, you're acting your age. He's the opposite of that. Okay. But he's acting like a delinquent. Let's be honest. If there was ever a time where you're just going, okay, yeah, I'm not sure what happened. You know, I was actually looking forward, the correct response, I was actually looking forward to having this go to trial and ultimately having a juror of peers deliberate and ultimately find me not guilty because they would have seen all the evidence and know that all this stuff that's been put out there, it's nothing but lies, it's nothing but bullshit. And yeah, that would have been one thing. That would have been one really good statement. And then you pretty much just could have left it at that and kept it moving along. and kept it moving along very easily. But that's not the statement that he put out there, right? But then to do the 180 and just this vicious personal attack on Paige. Now, apparently there was something, rumor has it, there was something that was signed between Paige and Alberto where I guess they can't say anything about each other. Like there's some type of I guess if you want to call it a confidentiality agreement, something along those lines. And I guess by Paige saying whatever she said, including on Lillian's podcast and whatever Paige might have said, even if it wasn't something where she was just bashing on Alberto, right? Just the fact that his name is coming out of her mouth, but yet he's the one that's taking the cheap shots at Paige with his new bun, bringing up the multiple charges and arrests that Paige had experienced, right? So, I mean, the whole thing is just toxic. It's just toxic. And it's quite sad. It's quite sad. And keep in mind, this is a guy that's saying ultimately he would love to go and work for the WWE. WWE ain't going to have nothing to do with this guy. They are going to stay as far away from this man as humanly possible. As humanly possible. It's great clicks for Alberto. Don't get me wrong. It's great clicks. Good clickbait. All that good stuff. She's sleeping. She's just having a little, I guess she's having a nightmare, but she's sleeping good, y'all. But yeah, it's like, you know, if your Paige, just keep doing your thing. She seems happy. Seems like a completely different person now, right? 2022 could be a really good and big year for Paige. She's teasing, getting back in the ring and all that. So I can't wait to see what the future holds for her. But here's a person that honestly has matured over the years. And yeah, some people may not like the choice in her men, you know, especially as far as her new man goes and all that. But you know what? It's her life. She's going to live it as she pleases, whether, you know, some of us like it or not. But, you know, hopefully you recognize the fact that she's better off. She's pretty happy. She's pretty happy with herself and everything that's going on with her. And, you know, that's all you can want is just for somebody to, all right, you know what? We might have been in a relationship for whatever respective reasons. Things didn't work out between us. It fucking sucks. You know what? It is what it is. But, you know, hey, look, even though we had the problems that we had, there were definitely some good times. Yeah, we might have endured a lot of bad, but there were definitely some good times. And for what it's worth, I can see and appreciate the good times, the goodness in you. And I just hope that you going into your next relationship, man, I just want you to have nothing but good things going on. You know, hopefully you learn from your experience while we were dating, just like I'm going to learn from my experience while we were dating. And in the process, we could become better people in the process. That's ultimately supposed to be the end goal when couples break up. Couples break up, marriages, divorce, it happens all the time. All the time. You take the good and the bad from one relationship and you basically, okay, here's everything that was wrong in the last relationship. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. These good things that were working, yeah, take those, amplify those, add a couple of these in, and you should be good to go. It seems that Alberto hasn't gotten that playbook just yet, unfortunately. Quite sad. Other than that, pretty much quiet, y'all. Everything's been pretty much nice and quiet since we went into the Christmas holiday break. So I know in regards to programming this week, I will be doing a new show for you guys this Tuesday night. The one rare Tuesday where I am off too. Well, I'm not off from my day job. My day job I got to do, but the night job I'm off. So when I'm done with the day job, I don't go back to classes until the following week. But this Tuesday, I'll be able to watch NWA Power in real time. So once they're done, I will be doing a live post show. So tune in for that live NWA post show. So that'll be fun. And then Wednesday, actually, let me look at the. She's trying to talk into the mic so bad. I don't know if you guys can see her head. Chloe is her name, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned her name earlier. Chloe is her name. Little by little, she's slowly responding to the name. Hi, how you doing? How you doing? You want to say a little something into that's Daddy's mic. That's your way of saying hello in that little teething phase. Wednesday, let me look at the schedule for Wednesday, because I believe Wednesday we will be coming on at 10. Let me just double check real quick here. Yeah. So Wednesday, for some reason I was thinking we were probably going to be running a little late coming on the air Wednesday night, but no, Wednesday night we're going to be good to go. 10 o'clock, we'll be on after Dynamite goes off the air. So that should be a fantastic show as well. And then there's going to be one more Wrestling with the Topics that we'll be doing to close out 2021. We're going to release that as a free-for-all for you guys as well. So nice, good weekend programming that's coming up for this week as we close out 2021. Definitely when we get to the Wednesday show, I'll be sharing with you guys some of the categories for our year-end awards. So that should be pretty good. I'm just finalizing it right now, but Wednesday we'll have it all finalized for you guys. Meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the RCWR show. Remember, you can always support the show on Patreon as well. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Tell them, honey. Tell them. Say, check out my daddy's Patreon. There you go. And get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And one more time, you guys enjoyed yourselves. You haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. Do that. Really helps spread the word about the content. Not to mention, tell them, honey. Not to mention, you help daddy get his content out there. Yeah, you help put more eyeballs on my daddy's show, which helps him out and all that good stuff, right? Yeah, good stuff right there. All right, guys, so that's going to do it until Tuesday, as I'll catch some of you guys for NWA coverage. Everybody else, I'll catch you guys for Wednesday. And then for the Wrestling with the Topics, since pretty much New Year's is going to be on Saturday, I will probably do like I did with the last week's Wrestling with the Topics. I will release a new Wrestling with the Topics this Thursday. Same time. We'll do Thursday at... I wonder if we should actually... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put it out on Thursday. I'll put it out Thursday at 9:30 p.m. for you guys to check out. All right? And that's going to do it. So till next go round, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. For those of you that have tuned in live, thanks for representing. Appreciate you guys tremendously. And everybody else that's going to be checking this out for on demand and on the download, you guys should have this in just a hot little bit. Take care, y'all. Peace. Oh, say bye-bye. All right. And she's sleeping already. I was going to have her say goodbye. Well, wait a minute. She's awake. Yeah, all right, she's awake. Say bye-bye, honey. Chloe says bye. Bye, y'all. See you on the next show. Seriously, you guys with the dog tips, I will definitely take in anything you guys got. So definitely come at me, especially if you got some good puppy advice, because the more, the merrier. I definitely would appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'm definitely out of here on that note. Take care, y'all. Peace.